Hello, my name is Sam Hawk, and this is the YouTube overview of my persuasive report. So for my topic, I chose whether students should be required to take an internship when they're in college in order to graduate, business students. And I took the stance on that they should have to. The main reasons that I went over this, I went over the student's point of view on what they think if they should be mandated or not to take an internship. I went over the business's point of view, what the people that are currently in the business world, the business owners, the company owners, what they think that these students should have to complete in order to graduate with this business degree. And I also took into account a statistical experiment in which they took a sample size of students, and they basically experimented on their experience and how it affected their career path in terms of the business world. So for the first argument, in the first argument, I went over the statistics of why students should have to take this internship. So one of the points that I brought up was the fact that the median income for a student who does do an internship is around just under $48,000 a year after they graduate, compared to a student who doesn't do an internship is about $37,000 a year. So this is a whopping difference of $11,000 a year, which is pretty dramatic, considering that's almost like a fourth of that income. So it shows why these students should do this internship, because it increases their income when they are first coming out of college. I also included the fact that the average student loan debts per year is about $6,500 for a student, and that $11,000 difference for the students that are taking that internship versus those that aren't, it covers that and then some, which even shows more statistically why these students should be mandated to take this internship. My second argument for why they should take this internship was the business point of view. In the business point of view, I included the fact opinion that the business world is ever expanding. It's become more globalized, and there are just some components of it that can't be exactly grasped in a classroom anymore. I cited a Jenny Z. She's a businesswoman, and she talked about how, because the business world is ever expanding, these students should have to do a business internship to get a hands-on experience of how the business world is becoming more globalized, and how these students, once they are in the real world, in the real business world, will have to interact with these other countries, with these businesses in other countries, so that they can operate a business or operate what they're doing successfully. My third reason was this was the student's perspective. This was an experiment, or a series of interviews done by the School of Business Administration at the University of San Diego. They conducted an experiment with 198 students, all who were minoring or majoring in business administration. They asked them a series of questions during an interview to kind of gain a better understanding of how these students felt about their experience with an internship, and how these students think it has affected them, their career paths, and all that fun stuff. Nearly all the results pointed to the fact that these internships were helping these students, that they were putting them on a better career path, and were overall just giving them a better understanding of how the business world works, because it was giving them that hands-on experience. Many of the students in this experiment actually did mention the fact of how the world was becoming more globalized, and this gave them a better understanding of that, which ties it back in to the perspective of the people that are already in the business world, which just made it a really solid experiment, and some really solid evidence for why these students should be mandated to take an internship before they graduate college. In my counter argument, I mentioned the fact that this might not be financially available for some of the students. However, with the mandate like this would be government backed, this would be government funded, ensuring that all students will be financially available to take this internship. And it would even give the opportunity for those who wanted to do an internship before, but couldn't do it financially. It would give them the opportunity now financially because it is supported by the government. And in my conclusion, I really just went over everything that I had talked about in my paper. And yeah, that's my persuasive report on why students should be mandated to take a business internship before they graduate.